Hello, I am Jim Koshar with Hudson River Computing, and what we're talking about today is Acumatica 26R1 and the AI Assistant. We're going to keep this video short to give you kind of a quick overview of how this works and some of the features that it entails. So if you take a look, to kind of review what we're going to do for the agenda, we're going to actually just show you basically how it works. We're going to review how to query your data, how to interact with the responses, review how to drill down the information, and then review to how to add a response to the dashboard. So it's going to be relatively straightforward. Additionally, we're going to talk a little bit about data security exposure to the outside world, as well as within Acumatica. Those all become very important parts of any AI solution. We don't want our data to go out into the ether of the real world. Okay, so this is Acumatica's main menu. Most people come to a dashboard of some sort. These are usually tailored to the individual or a group of individuals. And what we do from here to get to the AI Assistant, we click on AI Assistant. What I'm going to do to keep things relatively short as far as time, I had originally asked, what is our top customers year to date with their top 10 items? And it takes about a minute or so to come up with the response that you see here. So if you look down through, it gave us our top sales information for our top 10 customers year to date. You'll see it has Elevation Computers, and it goes down through with a 1.1 million or 1.3 million and down to O'Neill's Trading down to 687,000. If we scroll down a little bit further, for each one of these, it then shows us the individual top 10 items that they purchased from that particular customer. So it's very quick and easy. It takes about a minute to do that. And I didn't have to do any fancy work. I just literally asked that question. All right. So it comes down through, I can scroll down through, and if you notice here, it says due to system constraints, I've showed the top detail items for the top 5 customers. You can expand that, by clicking on that, just like they said, just let them know. All right. You'll notice here it also gave an item, a graph here. Okay. And then along with that, a pivot table. That's all out of the response. Okay. Now, with that, remember I said you could easily add these to, a dashboard, etc. If I click on View Chart, you'll notice that to the left now, it's created a chart. And with that, it's added it to a dashboard. Now, if I come back into this and I come down and I scroll back down and say, yep, that's good. And you know what? I want to add the pivot to the dashboard as well, which is this part here. So I want to see the detail. And if I click on that, again, it adds that to the dashboard. So now we have both items on the dashboard from our work area within AI Assistant. Now with this, it's fully functional. If I want to click on this and say, yep, how much did I have from Agri Foods? You notice here that it shows me those particular items for this particular customer. Okay, if I go back to my top 10 items, right, I can actually click on it and go to, my O'Neill's Trading, and it'll drill down on that. So you notice that it's fully functional. It's not something I have to work hard at. It was something that happened very quickly and easily. Additionally, the pivot table down below had the same thing happen. So if I look at this and say, yep, I want to see the detail of that, again, I can see the detail that made up that information in the pivot table. So that's how straightforward it is to see how our information from the drill down from our AI assistant query. Now with that, it also does give additional suggestions. So if I go back to my query, you'll see it says show top 10 items for one particular customer year to date, or what are the overall top 10 selling items, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to click on that right here. You notice here it's going down through. It's going to take a minute to calculate. Now, while that's thinking, okay, I'm going to give you a quick overview on data security. So, as far as the data exposure, when you're querying this information through the AI assistant, it is not going to the outside world at all. It's all within Acumatica and within your data set, which is very important. We don't want to send our information out into the ether for analysis, right? We want it within our product. That becomes very important longer term. Secondarily, data security within Acumatica is also secure as well. I'm logged in as admin, an admin right now, so I have access to literally everything. But if it came across data that I didn't have access to, it doesn't return with the response from that. So if you don't have access to that particular core piece of information, maybe you don't have access to sales, maybe you're a purchasing agent, so you don't get to see this information. And that's the case, you wouldn't be able to actually do this. It would come back and give you basically a message saying that it can't access it. It's a security message. So that's kind of the idea, and that becomes important. So now you notice that it gave us our top 10 selling items year a day. You notice it took what, 15, 20 seconds? And you can see here all the information about it. And then down here we have another one where it created overall sales segment margin. And then you come down a little bit further, and then you have the margin down here. And again, I can add any of these to the dashboard just like I did before. So that's how easy and how straightforward it is to do this. This saves a tremendous amount of time. It requires less training, makes it easier to access information for most everybody within the system. Acumatica is very easy to use with query tools already, but this adds to it by, I want to do a fairly complex query where I started with the first one, what are their top 10 customers? And with their year-to-date top 10 items, that's actually a fairly sophisticated initial query. And with that, you notice I didn't have to do any code. I just little did that. It gave me back my answers. All right. So with that, very important. Now, the last part I do want to point out is it does tell you where it came up with the information within the system. Notice here's the sources, profitability for the last 12 months. If you look here, it shows you that information. Where did it come from? And those all become important, so you make sure that, hey, that might look a little weird. Maybe I didn't ask the question right. And those kind of things allow you to verify the information. So hopefully you've got a little bit out of this. The idea is to give you an idea what this can possibly do and how easy it is to use. So that's how straightforward. And if I click on, the previous ones, you can see their histories are there. Again, really straightforward to use and work with. Anyway, thank you very much. I appreciate your time.